You know, right. Nick Durst here with Joe Calabrese. And Joe, you're a very special guest today. Most people may know him from being a finalist on season 19 of The Voice, but there's so much more to him, and we're going to get to all that on this episode.
Yes, we will. He was on Team Blake. He finished third in the competition. And he's got a new single coming out with Blake called Grow Up. And we're going to talk about that, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And he's a New York native too, I believe. So we'll go talk about that as well. Ian Flannigan. Ian, welcome to the show.
How you doing? Hey guys, thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Absolutely. So as Joe mentioned, you are a New York native, grew up pretty close to Woodstock and Hudson Valley and the Catskill Mountains. What was your childhood like there? When did you start singing and say, hey, maybe I want to see if I could pursue a career like this? And was there a particular singer you watched that kind of influenced you to make you say, maybe I could do this too?
Yeah, I'm from upstate New York in the Hudson Valley, a town called Saugerties, New York. We're about 4 miles from Woodstock. It's all the same up there. It's very rural areas, and I'm the only child. And my family, we kind of grew up, it was pretty much out in the country. I didn't really have anybody, no neighbors for a while. So one of the main things I did is I wrote songs with my mom as a kid. And then when I was about 11, is first really got into the guitar. So I kind of just passed my time as a kid writing songs. And that's when I really got hooked on it. But the Hudson Valley, Woodstock, upstate New York, it's a really heavy music scene up there. A lot of really accomplished writers, accomplished players of all kinds. Jazz live up there, and rock and country and folk. Levon Helm is basically, his Midnight Ramble has been there my entire life. And the band, and Van Morrison, Bob Dylan's Pink house is right there. It's a lot of history, a lot of setting the bar really high. So for me, that Americana roots kind of folk and country was a whole part of my coming to be as a songwriter.
So you grew up in Saugerties, New York, obviously outside Woodstock. What types of musicians did you listen to growing up? Which ones influenced you? We know you started talking about that, so I might as well continue.
Yeah, just coming from upstate New York, Saugerties, Woodstock, the musician quality is really high. And one of the main influences up there has always been Levon Helm with the band. And he's had his Midnight Ramble my entire life that I've known about. For me growing up, I really got my hands on an album called Eric Clapton's Unplugged album. It really kind of influenced me as an acoustic guitar player for the majority of the bulk of my beginning years as an acoustic player.
So how crazy has the last 18 months been for you? You're putting on shows, then obviously the pandemic happens, and you, like every other artist, is struggling because you can't go play, you can't sing, nobody wants you. And then you go through the process to get on The Voice, and things kind of change drastically for you. What kind of led you to audition for The Voice, and what was that process like?
Yeah, to be honest, before The Voice, my family and I, we had sold everything and moved into a 24-foot Wago. So it was just a regular Class C motorhome. It was a small van pretty much. And we had been on tour for about 6 to 8 months coming from Texas. When we got to Nashville, we got here right when the tornado hit East Nashville and the pandemic just started. So yeah, we lost our entire tours like everybody. And our last show was at the Mercy Lounge out here in Nashville, which we didn't know at that time, but is a scouting event for the show, The Voice. And it was just an open mic. We were really down on kind of just like everybody, last job, last dollar, not very good outlook. After the performance there, one of the talent scouts of the show came backstage and met us all and just said, hey, Ian, really like your music, and we'd like to see if you'd like to be a part of this upcoming season. And it happened like that. So I actually didn't audition in a traditional way, I guess. And the next day I sent in a video just saying, hey, I'm Ian, living on the road, I'll hopefully be a part of this. So that was kind of it.
So kind of just a right place, right time situation, and it all worked out for you. And obviously you joined Team Blake How much did you really know about the show prior to going on it? And was it always in your mind, I want to be like a country topic singer. I think Blake's the guy for me, or would you have been happy really with anybody?
I had not seen a lot of the show beforehand. As an independent artist, as many of you guys know, we're living full time on the road, just pushing. My entire life has just been song after song after song, show after show. So I just kind of avoided getting too immersed in those kinds of things. And we also just don't watch too much of any TV at this point. But I definitely have known about Blake for years and years. And I didn't realize how personal that show could really be, or I thought it wasn't for me for years because I was an original songwriter and I knew it was singing covers. And I just never thought that I could ever hang in there because I didn't know any cover songs. I'd been performing original music for 7, 8 years. So I just never really considered it for me. And that's where when I got on, I even told the directors of the show, I was like, I don't know if I'm the right guy for you because I don't know any of these songs. Because the first thing you do is you lay down 25 songs that you feel really comfortable singing. And I was like, I don't have one that's on this list. So for anybody that does hear this, that's not necessarily a huge part of it at all. My entire story with the is just trying to encourage people who don't think it's for them to try it out.
Yeah, do you think being an independent artist gave you a leg on the competition? Because I think there's a certain comfortability and familiarity with learning how to record your own music, play your own music. I have a lot of friends who have like gone through the struggle of like trying to put themselves out there and be a musician. So did you find that gave you a leg up on the competition a little bit? Maybe brought a little unique flair to you that nobody else really had in that room?
I do. I think that obviously the more you're doing it, the more comfortable you are. But for me, there's two things that I think really help doing a lot of performance and a lot of recording is I know how to transpose any song that I need to for myself. So a lot of pop music is written about 2 to 3 whole steps higher than my range can actually do, since I'm more of a mid baritone kind of guy. So whatever song I have to transcribe and transpose like that night down into my register, which then can kind of make it not hit like this song was meant to. You drop like Hotel California down an octave, it might not sound as great. So you got to be creative with that. But besides the transposing part of it, I would say that you'd think in the beginning that it would be this perfect sound, but really what you're walking into in those blind auditions is it's an incredibly loud band. You don't get your own personal mix. You're just going out there and you are going to just do your best. And if you have a lower range, you might not even hear yourself because they're setting a general mix, and that even includes like the highest female vocal. So if you give me her mix, you can't really hear that. So I watched a lot of great singers go home after the blind audition because they didn't have a great monitor system, so they couldn't hear themselves, and that's where mistakes happen. I think playing 1,000 backyard country fairs with terrible sound on the stage helped me a lot because I just another day. But that definitely is something to practice if anybody's going into it.
What was it like? You're backstage, a producer or something says, "All right, you're up." You're in your mask, you got all their COVID stuff, rushing you out on the stage, and you go out and you're singing, and this season really nobody's there. It's just the judges. What was that like for you?
Yeah, COVID played a huge part. I mean, we were the COVID season. Every single thing was sanitized. We had masks on masks. It was intense. They did a fantastic job of taking it seriously. But for us, you get shuttled in. You obviously have a lot of nerves because just the nerves of not tripping. Like it's a completely dark room, and all the stairs are completely black, and there's a little bit of tape. But the main thing for me, I was just like, just don't fall. And if you hit your mark, then you can kind of get to the next step. It's just like a video game. Like you got to just get through the levels. But without seeing the audience, luckily, those kinds of stages and shows like that, there's so much lighting going on that you couldn't see that much of it anyway. And the 4 chairs definitely keep you occupied.
So The Voice, it's been around a while now. Obviously, kind of came based off the American Idol craze and America's Got Talent and all that. Just wanted to ask you, since you've gone through it, your opinion here. Do you feel like The Voice is more of a judge-centric show, whereas the other shows are maybe more of a performer type of show? Because to me, it seems like from the outside, the judges are the stars of the show. And do the judges really, are they there for you? Are they actually helping you throughout the week? Or are they just showing up to film segments? And really, what's kind of like, okay, you made it through this week and now you're going to prepare for the next week. What is that process like for the performers?
I have a lot of inside points of view, and I also have a lot of friends that have done the whole entire American Idol and America's Got Talent. So I know a lot of people that have been in all of these. And, The Voice is definitely set up to where the coaches are absolutely superstars. And the bulk of, like, a lot of the fun of the show is rooting for your team. And, Blake Shelton is widely loved. The other day I was just laughing because I walked into CVS, I see him on a People's Magazine, and I walk in the car and Happy Anywhere comes on the radio. I'm like, man, Blake is just everywhere. And so I think there's a lot of fun that people have rooting for their team and their coaches. They're not really there to judge you. They are there to see if they can help you grow. I think as an artist, The Voice, I think they take really good care of you. Like they never want you to look bad. They never want to showcase you in a negative way, especially that could ever damage your career. They truly are there to build, where I feel like some of the others definitely will capitalize on exposing some downfalls or flat notes, but The Voice's ratings definitely are about showing off great music. So it's really up to the artist to take advantage of the tools that you have. Like, you have some of the best vocal teachers in the world. Treylani is the vocal coach there for my season. And I mean, if you take advantage of these resources, Paul, the music director in the band, he was Cher's guy for 11 years. Like, these people are the best in the world. I could go through the list of the band, but it's just like, you have so much to learn before you even get to hang with the coaches there if you take advantage of it. So I do think that the show capitalizes on that as well, the coaches' fame. But I mean, we spend a lot of time with the coaches, and as the teams get smaller, you spend more time. So Blake and I, we have recorded 3 songs together. We've rehearsed and practiced. We've spent hours doing that stuff, which I think is a lot. A half hour in their world is like days for normal hanging.
Yeah, so the show kind of, I'll say, skews to Blake a little bit. Blake has obviously won the show more so than any other artist, any other judge. And there, I guess, a certain type that always, a certain type of fan that gravitates to the show. And, kind of being more on the casual end of the spectrum here from a fan's perspective. Obviously, you're the type of guy, you're the type of voice that would profile well on the show. You did finish 3rd. So I wanted to ask you quickly, as you were on the show, as you were performing, as you were going through each individual competition, as you were getting on and on and on, did you have an inkling of how popular you were at first, how much fan support you were really garnering on the show? Was there any kind of, did anybody kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit, or did you just kind of take it week by week and you were saying to yourself, stay humble? Obviously, I have probably a little more support right now doing my performances than I thought I was going to get at the beginning. So how was that like for you?
That's a great question, because there is the guy who came in second that beat me, Jim Ranger. He's one of my best friends, and he and I would have this discussion nightly. Like, we would try to pick the show apart and be like, what is going on here? Like, is there a master plan? Like, we can't figure it out. And it would always shock us. As soon as we thought we knew it was going to happen, it would flip on its head. And maybe that's the genius of the show. But to be honest, they keep you going from early morning till early morning the next day. And the best, like, for your psyche, your general mental health, you kind of turn the phones off a bit and just do the work. Now, everybody's obviously obsessed with, like, watching view counts, because those view counts are basically lining up what your votes are going to be. And we all kind of knew Carter, we would be like, okay, you got 200,000, somebody's got 300,000, then Carter Rubin would be like 800,000, so it points to, like, the general popularity. I actually did not think I had my bag packed. I tell you the truth, man. Everybody, when you leave these kinds of shows, you're not leaving casually at 1 in the afternoon the next day. You're leaving at 5 in the morning, and you're getting back to the hotel at midnight, and you still have some like debriefing and interviews to do. So you may not sleep before you get on that plane. Every time I went on that stage, I had my bags packed, and I was just walk out, just because I'm not trying to do that at 3 in the morning. But also, I did not think I was safe at all. And I was in the bottom, after I was in the bottom, I don't know, I think it was like the bottom 5 or bottom 9 or something, where you have to sing to be saved by America. When I got saved, I was wholeheartedly shocked. I was literally saying goodbye to everybody on that stage. I was like, thank you so much, man. I can't believe I got this far. And I country's strong. And I mean, I traveled this country full time with my family for shows. And the country Americana genre is massive compared to for live music fans. I know it's huge. I haven't been in a lot of the pop R&B scenes, because that's not what I do. So I don't really know the audience numbers, but I definitely feel like, country people love it. People love Blake. You're right. It's definitely like you're on a heavy team.
So we'll ask about Blake just one more time. Just
Yeah.
one more time, and then we'll talk about you a little bit.
I don't know. Whatever you want to know, man.
We got Grow Up coming out here, single with you guys. It seems like even after the show has ended, you have such a strong relationship, professional relationship with Blake. How often do you speak to him? What was like the production process like for this single that you got coming out?
Single like this, well, is like a lot of the other singles, it's fast. It is fast and it happens quick. It's a whole hurry up and wait thing. I got off the show, the finale. I flew out to Florida, where I had a show the next night. And I just was back touring, and I was in Texas, got a call from the owner of Reviver Music Group, which I'm now signed to, David Ross. And he said, I'd love to talk to you about doing a single. A couple of weeks go by. We're out there picking and writing singles, and we get to grow up. We're all really liking it. It's just different. It's moody. And, we're like, I wonder if Blake would like to jump on this, or what he thinks about it. We sent it over. I texted him. And I think just like a day or two later, he texted me back and said, hey, man, I really love this song. Would love to jump on it. And I mean, it was as casual as that. And then I recorded my parts and the band at Addiction Sound in Nashville. And a couple days later, we met up with him at Starstruck, which is where he records a lot of the time, in Nashville. And I mean, he just, he's Blake, man. He's the same guy that you see on TV, just walks in, rolls in, hangs out for a while, cuts his vocal in like 2 or 3 takes. And we just kind of hung out and caught up for a minute. His days are pretty much like he flew in somewhere. He's flying out somewhere in a couple hours. So just to be able to get a couple hours with him it's pretty amazing. He's a humble guy to do that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Now, when you are on the show, what are you noticing with your social media presence? Are you growing a following? You're like, this is crazy. And also, any known singers or celebrities reaching out to you? Obviously, this past summer you were opening for Trace Atkins. Was he a fan of the show? How did that partnership come about?
Yeah, I did. Well, I'm working with Kincaid. They're a booking agency out here in Nashville. They're a boutique agency, and they've taken me on, and they have been just amazing, giving me a lot of opportunities. Trace Atkins came up pretty quick, and sadly, it was like torrential downpour, county fair headliner he was doing, and I did not get to meet him. I was really upset. I wanted to go see him because I'm a fan of his too, and he's got such a the lowest voice in country music. I just had to talk with him, but I get to see him, and I just waved to him and everything. But he was fantastic. That happened through Kincaid, though. That was a total separate entity than the show. I know he and Blake are friends, though, so I was hoping to see what's up.
So hopefully you'll be able to get back out there, do a lot more touring. The pandemic kind of put a halt on that, but now everything kind of seems to, maybe not fully back to normal, but we're getting there.
Getting closer towards the new normal, yeah.
We got last question here before we let you go. We know you've been around a couple of cities. We know Nashville has your heart, like every other country artist. What are some of your other favorite cities that you've got to go to, and what were your favorite places to play?
Well, before the show, we were very fortunate to be able to join Bob Schneider at Austin City Limits, which was a really amazing venue. One of the first times I played a theater like that. As far between Austin and Dallas and Texas, obviously, like I love Texas for the live music scene. I'll be in Houston in a couple weeks. I gotta say, some of the weird little cities that we love are like Bisbee, Arizona, these weird little mountain town desert cities. I personally like to just disappear into those, and they're really cool. There's a lot of art. Nobody's there. It's a special kind of thing. Obviously, I got a sweet spot for the upstate New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, New England, up to Maine. I mean, I love the coal country, man. Denver, it's crazy. I'm still trying to get out to Montana and Colorado more, but for me, obviously, besides Tennessee, it's a lot of Texas shows. Austin City Limits is a great one, and a lot of random little mountain towns between New Mexico and Arizona. Very inspiring places.
Yeah, upstate New York is a really, really great area. I went to Marist, but I have knowledge of the area kind of north of that. So anywhere you
This is
go,
beautiful. It's like Hogwarts over there.
it is like, you're
It's like a
totally right.
castle.
Rhinebeck is beautiful, and I think Socrates is a little more north of there, between Rhinebeck and I guess Albany would be the next one. But
Yep.
I have a lot of really strong familiarity with those areas right along the Hudson River over there. So, Ian, this was really fun. Great interview. Thank you for doing this with us. We really, really appreciate it. And what we do here, Nick and I, is we always give our guests the last words. So if there's anything else you would like to share, if there's anything else you would like to promote, I have a ton of friends who love country music, love people like Chris Stapleton, who I'm sure you admire and model your work as well. You have a really deep, soulful sounding voice. I think that makes you stand out. I can see why you were so successful on The Voice. But again, if there's anything else you would like to share, if there's anything else you would like to promote, go right ahead. The floor is all yours. Thanks for doing this with us.
Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate you having me. Also, I'm hoping everybody listening has a really wonderful, happy, and healthy year. You can find any of the new music at ianflanniganmusic.com. Got the new single Grow Up coming out, featuring Blake Shelton. So I appreciate your time, guys. Have a great day.
All right, that's going to do it here for this episode of You Know I'm Right for our very special guest, Ian Flannigan, and my co-host, Joe Calabrese. I'm Nick Durst, and this has been You Know I'm Right.